are you?
Verstanden, mixed up.
Okay, can you tell me who your angel is?
Brandon, my son. Brandon Ryan.
And can you tell us about Brandon?
You know, I was told I couldn't have children from a previous accident that I had many years prior. So he was our first adopted baby. And the thrill of going through the process and, you know, I had lost my younger brother many years prior. So my mother was more excited than I was. And, you know, when we got that call that the birth mother, her water broke, we were right on the next plane to San Antonio, Texas. And, you know, I still see baby Brandon in my husband's arms, you know, just looking down on him. And he giggled and he never stopped giggling. You know, he was full of laughter. He lit up every room. He was wise beyond his years. He was a teddy bear, you know, he was slick, he was funny, he was comical, he was the class clown, and you could not top his jokes, you know, so wherever he went, he made a friend and he made, you know, a footprint, you know, with everybody. And one of my favorite memories is I had a 3-bedroom apartment and I had the little tight fence so he couldn't come out. And he's 1.5 and it was like middle of the morning, like 2 in the morning. And we hear, hello, is anybody home? It's Brandon. And he was stuck. He was so chunky that his diaper got stuck in the middle. So all you saw was his head. And from that moment on, this was his character, you know, and he was so chunky, he didn't know how to crawl. He would leap like a frog. So we called him Brandon Frog, and that stuck with him until the day he passed. And he was just lovable. He was delicious. He kind, a heart of gold, you know, did for you, left himself out, you know, and he was a shining star, you know, and no matter how awful he was and the behavior was what it was, he would always twist it around when you would start laughing, you know. Even in school, in kindergarten, you know, he got almost suspended because he mooned a little girl during recess. I mean, it didn't stop, you know, and I'm talking about the era of a car phone, beepers. I was beeping all over the place. And at night you had to laugh, but it became serious, you know, and he just went on that way, you know, whoever he met loved him, you know. One of my fondest memories is for his bar mitzvah. At the same time, my husband had gotten sick, and the children were away that summer at sleepaway camp. And when they got home, we had to tell him that, you know, their dad had cancer. And we were driving out in 2 cars out east, and he's in my car, and it's like 7 o'clock, maybe a little early, like 5 o'clock. And he goes, I need to find a cure for my father. And I do a lot of closings, and I said, you know what? The Light the Night, the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society is in this building at 535 Broad Hollow Road. He's, give me the number. By the time we got out east, he became a team captain. I had to drive back and wait the next day for a big box of buttons and hats and pamphlets. And he started collecting money from Montauk to Great Neck. And he was awarded I think he collected 15,000 and change, you know, from dollar bills and $5 bills. And we went all on the Light the Night, and he was given a plaque from the Regatta boat show at the Port Washington docks. And, you know, he did beautiful things for people, you know, and he just had this joyful life, you know, and no matter how he tried to make us upset, and we truly got upset with certain situations like we do with our children, by the end of the night, I'd be shaking my head. You know, it's like, what else? You know, what else is he going to come up with? But good natured, loving. My mother was his favorite. She took him like it was her own child, and that was fine with me. You know, he filled the void that she lost. And he named my mother Bubba because she read him a book very young at age about Bubba the elephant. And my mother was chunky, so he called her Bubba. So she said, "You're chunky too, you're Bubba too." So there were Bubba 1 and Bubba 2. I mean, you couldn't get upset with him, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, the school, just like someone said, would call me in and they'd roll their eyes and say, you know, how do you get mad? And he did, he got suspended in elementary school. Why? Because they were doing a science project, and he raised his hand and he said, "Peanuts." That was it. That was it. They had it with him, you know, and the principal would laugh it off. The deans would laugh it off. The teachers would laugh it off. And everybody would laugh it off, you know, and he loved his sisters, you know. He has a sister who's also adopted. I adopted, you know, second time. And when I adopted my second, I was pregnant. So my daughters are 6.5 months apart. And, you know, he loved family. He loved friends. He loved people. He met his biggest moment, his claim to fame was going up to Mayor Giuliana in Hampton Bays and said to him in a coffee shop, "My father's got cancer. You got money. May I have some?" And he handed him like a $20 bill. And he would wave and, you know, do a dance, and he would carry on. He was a character, but a character full of love, you know, and funny. You would be plotzing, you know. He was hysterical, you know, and you knew when he walked into a room that you're going to have a good time, you know. So those are, you know, my memories of him. And there's still my memories and thoughts of him. You know, I have him in my heart, you know, and I miss that jolly old Brandon. I do. You know, so.
Thank you so much for sharing him with us. It sounds like it was a lot of fun. And I know he's still sending his love down to you and his sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you joined us after COVID, so you haven't been to a regular meeting, right?
Correct.
Just through Zoom.
Correct.
So can you tell me how the Beating Hearts is helping you and how it is being with us through Zoom?
I'm in other programs and other support programs, and I met this gentleman who overheard a friend and I talking about our children who's passed. And he said, "I know this woman, her name is Linda, and before you go to any other groups, you've got to make this phone call." And my son passed away just at the cuff of the beginning of COVID, March 14th. And I called Linda, you know, and I was just like, when I got the beads in the mail, it was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, and I do a lot, and I do a lot of service, and I'm involved in so much, but my heart, in the worst dread of my life, my heart was singing when I got those beads. you know, and I've been on since. I took a little reprieve, you know, and I'm back. So, and I went on the walk at the dock, you know, with the leaves, and, you know, I think it's the most unified, beautiful group of women. We share the same pain, we share the same love, we share the same camaraderie, and, you know, we all understand. We all understand how we think and how we feel, because we're all walking in the same shoes, you know, so. Thanks.
Thank you. So March 12th is National Lookup Day. And I want to know, what do you want us to know and who will you be looking up for on March 12th?
I'd be looking up for all the young boys and girls who have passed on before us, and every person who has passed on with the addiction of drugs and alcohol. But my favorite moment is going to be knowing that my son is with his dad, his Bubba, his grandfather, my brothers, they're all together. You know, so, you know, my love just goes up there, you know, and it's, to me, it's almost like a breakthrough for me to even look up, you know, in just 11 months. So, you know, I look up for everybody, you know, everybody with addiction, you know, and it's like bittersweet. It's bittersweet, but I'm not alone. So, you know, I look out for others as well, because I'm not doing this alone. Without you, there's no me. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are all, as said many times, broken open, but we're helping each other mend our broken hearts.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing Brandon with us.